Recently, a porn star by the name of Christy Mack was beaten to the point where she had to go to the hospital to get treated for her injuries. The beating was so severe and so brutal that she made national headlines, and she released a statement about it. And she blamed the beating on someone that she used to date, someone who goes by the name of War Machine, who is an MMA fighter. Now, more information is coming out about what occurred that night, how it happened, and also some of the beliefs that the War Machine had when he was incarcerated previously in 2010. Apparently, when he was behind bars, he had a prison blog where he shared his thoughts on male and female gender roles and how women basically destroy relationships and deserve consequences for it. So let me give you a few examples of what he wrote. There's one guy in here referring to prison for slapping his wife, one here for yelling at his wife, and one here for beating some guy's ass that disrespected his wife. What the fuck? If your wife is being a bitch, you can't slap her. If your wife is yelling at you, God forbid you yell back. And if some asshole hurts your wife, you cannot protect her. Next thing you know, it will be illegal to fuck your wife. Laughing my ass off, maybe then men in this country will get the fucking hint and move. This country forces you to be a bitch, and then you go to jail.
Okay, that sounds a little un-American to me. So a lot of people defended this guy. Like, oh no, yeah, you don't know. What are you talking about? Look at this. Listen to this guy, right? So now he has an extreme example about somebody yelling at their wife and going to jail. I don't believe a word this guy says anyway. I don't know what that is. And is it possible? I guess it's remotely possible if it was terroristic threats, right? So if he said, I'm going to kill you and here's how I'm going to kill you, right? But in reality, no, you go to jail usually for assault, right? For domestic violence, if you actually hit someone. And here he's saying in the blog, like, what? You can't slap your woman around? You're gonna go to jail for that? Yes, you go to jail for slapping anyone around.
Right.
It's called assault, right?
Yeah.
And he's basically saying here, what? I'm not allowed to kick people's ass? Yes, idiot, you're not allowed to kick people's ass.
Yeah, the use of violence in any circumstance, even if you are a victim of violence, responding to it with violence, unless it's a case where you genuinely need to defend yourself, is not the answer, okay? For anyone who thinks that's the right way of handling the situation, you are wrong. This is not a healthy mentality. This is not the way you respond to any type of situation. Now, he feels as though the real problem in the country is that men are being oppressed, and he writes that in his blog. He says, the oppression of men is worse than the oppression of Jews in Nazi Germany, worse than the slavery of blacks in early America. I'm not exaggerating either. And this part I fucking love. Every Jew and every black man, both in jail and those who have managed to avoid it, will attest to what I have just written.
No, they won't. They won't attest to that at all.
How insulting are you to the Jewish community and the black community to claim that the so-called oppression of men in America is comparable to what they went through? Are you fucking out of your mind? And for those of you who are defending him and saying like, yeah, us men, we're totally being fucked over in this country. All right, this is the guy who did the following to Christy Mack. She had 18 broken bones around her eyes, a broken nose, missing teeth, fractured ribs, severely ruptured liver, lesions from the knife pressed into her skin. You know how she escaped? She escaped when he went to the kitchen to get a sharper knife. She went out through the back door and started looking for a neighbor that would answer the door and take her to the hospital immediately. Finally, someone opened the door and took her to the hospital. This guy was on the run for a week straight, and cops finally found him hiding in a hotel. If he was so innocent and if he didn't do anything wrong, why the hell was he hiding? Yeah. What a piece of shit. Fuck this guy.
So he's saying me breaking my girlfriend's bones, and he cut all of her hair off. That's why you saw her hair was cut with a dull knife. And he goes to get the sharper knife, as Anna said. And me breaking all her bones and rupturing her liver, etc., and going to jail for that is like 6 million Jews being killed by the Nazis.
It's amazing.
The millions of African Americans who were enslaved for, decades, centuries here in the U.S.
Lynched.
Right. It's worse. I can't believe I had to go to jail just because I nearly killed my ex-girlfriend and I broke, dozens of bones in her body. What? How oppressed am I? But I mean, isn't that perfect? Like, that's the victim ideology. The same people who say to others, oh, you guys have a victim ideology, actually consider themselves the biggest victims of all. Like, boo-hoo me. What, I can't just assault everybody and stab them and try to kill them? What? Oh, now you gotta put me in jail for that? I'm the victim. Mm-hmm. No. I'm pretty sure based on those pictures and the medical reports that she was the victim of you and your barbaric assault on her. So, are we surprised from a guy who renamed himself the War Machine, right? And so yeah, that could be a cute little thing that you do in professional wrestling, and if it's fake and stuff like that. But it's obvious from his writing that he thinks that this is a perfectly acceptable thing to do. So I don't know anyone who belongs in jail more than this guy does.
Absolutely, and I hope that he is prosecuted to the fullest extent and faces the harshest consequences for that.
Isn't it so ironic that the guys who claim to be the toughest guys, oh, men's rights, are the ones that cry the most? Like, oh, men's rights, we're victims, oh, poor men, why do you do this to us? Women control our lives. We're worse off than the Jews and the blacks. Oh, men's rights, I'm so tough. Dude, grow a sack, man. Just be a man, right? And just be calm and live your life and be in control without having to assault other people and without having to denigrate others. Be confident enough in yourself to carry yourself in a proper way so that you're not intimidated by women to the point where you do irrational and barbaric things. Is that too much to ask for?